All right, so you downloaded Landscapeasy. Over the next 15 minutes, you're going to learn the basics of how to use it. If you join the Skool community, you can ask all about the complicated and complex features of Landscapeasy, which you'll start to find as you start to use it more and more. So check out this video and you'll see. All right, you should be able to hear me, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to open up landscaper.landscapeasy.com. It's going to load. Now, if you haven't done this already, what you want to do is you want to add it as an app. So you hit the top right-hand corner. This is on an Android device. If it was on an iPhone, it'd be a little different. But you're going to add to home screen. Okay, you're going to install it. It's going to download it. All right, it's installed now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the newly installed, we're going to add it to home, and we're going to move it to the front page. Boom. All right, first thing is done. Let's open the app. All right, so now that we're in the app, here's the basics of everything. So on the top screen, you've got your profile, which is just going to pop right out. That's going to give you some basics of how to use the app. You've got your service requests at the top right hand corner here, and then you've got your chat. You've got your marketing dashboard, which you click the little blue, it brings you to the page on the bottom. You can see on the menu it changed to all the way to the right. The market is to help you market. All right, you have the ability to claim free points right here, which if you're on a free plan, you'll be able to get something daily every single day. But you can also do task rewards at the bottom here, and you'll get rewarded for, you know, posting Instagrams, things like that. And if you're sharing your link to drive your own business, it's a 2-for-1. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to go through the steps here and just set up our company. So let's get that done first. We're going to add a logo, and we're going to add a logo. We're going to choose a photo, and let's choose this guy right here. Okay, we've added our logo to the business. Now we've got step 2 to do. So we want to add a service. What this is going to do is it's going to set it up so that when we set up our link, we have services to offer to people. So we're going to click on miles range. We're going to set it up. We're going to start with 15. We're going to update that. And it's going to generate the services that we can offer. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to add lawn mowing. Boom. So it's real simple. Mow the property, trim the edges, and blow down the hard surfaces. That's the simple scope of work. You can put whatever you want, but we're going to add that product. Okay, we've now added lawn mowing. So now we have our first service. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. Now we're going to just back out. All right, so now all you got to do is connect your Stripe. You go in here. You can obviously get other payment options like cash and check. But in this case, we're going to connect Stripe because we want to have proof of work. Hit the connect Stripe button. I already have one set up in here, so we're just going to connect that. It's all set. It was connected successfully. All right. I've completed step 3. We're connected to Stripe. So now we're just going to restart Landscapeasy for the changes to take effect. All right, so we are fully connected. So we're going to claim our link now. Boom. We've got our link, we got our QR code and everything like that. It's pretty cool. Going to go to our home screen. And now we have our link. So now the cool thing is when you go into your market section, you're going to have your services that you offer, the work. You have your links ready to go, and you're available now to go in the Landscaper directory. So the first thing we're going to do, well, we're on the Landscaper directory now. Since it's a test, I'm going to deactivate that. You can always take yourself off the directory really easily. And then you can, if you want, you can edit the request link right here, which is pretty neat. Okay. So all that's taken care of. So now what we want to do is we want to set it up so that we have customers and businesses and business coming in. So all we want to do is add a service. We're going to click add a service. We're going to click new client right here. Okay, and we're just going to make one up right now. We're going to do it, call it test 914 _4 at wickednicelawn.com. You would have to do a real email address here, and we're going to just call it Testy and Testy McTesticSons and 555-555-5555 for the phone number. We're going to add the client. We've successfully added the client, and you're going to see our client profile. Now, what I want to do here is I want to add an address and get the process going. So all you got to do is add an address. What's their address? We're going to use this address, just our standard company address. Boom. We're going to add that address now. Okay, now we want to add a service. So here we go. Let's add a service. So we got our service stages. Now, level 2 or higher is going to have estimate, service, and invoices. If you're not level 2 or higher, you're only going to have service, meaning you're going to do your estimates on your own, or you're going to do the service and you're going to have to schedule it in the system. Right? So in this case, we'll just add a service for now. And it's going to give us a bunch of preloaded ones, but we're going to call it a custom job, and we're going to do gutter cleanup. Okay, the price of the job is $135, and it's clean up the gutters and remove debris. Got it. I'm going to create that service. It's created. All right, so do we want this to be recurring? We just want it to be a one-time service. We're going to save that frequency. Okay, when do we want to do it? We're going to do this on Tuesday. We're going to set that. We're going to schedule the job. Boom. So now, as you can see here, we've got one service for $135 scheduled on Tuesday. Now, when I click on that, it's going to generate it. It's going to show me that it's ready to go. And we can go from there. Now, once you're actually doing the service, you're just going to click on this little red tab here. And that's going to open up the service adjustment document. This is where you go to complete the service. This is where you go for directions, for example. All right, that brings us right to the Google. You would check in. Boom. That starts the job. And then you would complete the service. If you had tasks that you wanted to add, you could add a task to this service. You could say, hey, I want to require a photo. We'll call it start photo. Okay, let's just take a pic. Boom, we're going to add a new task. All right, now it's requiring a photo now. So now, when I go to complete the service, it's going to force me to take a photo. Okay, and then all you got to do is we'll add in a photo. We're going to complete that. And we're going to add in our closing photo. Boom. Complete that. And now what's happened is it completed the service. It invoiced the customer. It gives you all the data that you need. And you're done. Now, if it was a frequency, like weekly or bi-weekly, it would just reschedule it for you. And you'd be good to go. Now, if I go into clients, I'm going to see Testy McTestisons. I can click on here. I can see all of the properties that we have under Testy McTestisons. I can see Westview Drive. Right, I can add more addresses. I can take notes. I can archive him if I want. I can add another client just by hitting the little color on the little plus in the bottom right-hand corner. I can go to my menu here. I can do expenses. I can share. I can do a time clock. All right, so I should have punched in. Let's just say I'm punching in. Punching in. Now it'll say I punched in at the top here, right, which is really neat. And if I click that punch in, it brings me right back to the time clock, which is really, really cool. I won't be able to go and see it for a minute or two, and then it will let me do start lunch, end lunch, etc. Once I hit a minute, we'll be able to do it. So that's the basics. Now, if I hit details here, right, so I got week starting 9/14 because this is Sunday. This is going to generate a little graph for me. I can see what I've actually completed. I can click on the details if I want. I can go into my payment menu here, mark as paid, send an email reminder, send an in-app reminder. It's already emailed the customer, so it really doesn't make sense to do it right now, right? And then that's going to look for you. And then you can go back and look at different weeks. And then once you go to level 3, level 4, you'll start to see all the other options for like additional employees and things like that. Now, one last thing that I want to do, because this is probably the most important thing, this is what you're going to be really utilizing it for, is you're going to be utilizing it for estimates. So I want to add a service. I'm going to add a service. We'll do it with Tessie McTessison's under 13 Westview Drive. And we're going to do an estimate, and we're going to call this full yard conversion. I'm going to create an estimate. We're going to schedule that estimate. We're going to schedule it. Yeah, we'll schedule it today. Boom. We're going to go back to Sunday. What do we got today? I've got an estimate that I got to get done. Okay. So now I'm going to click on this. I'm going to create and edit my estimate. Here's the estimate portal. Super, super easy. I can take photos, for example. Boom. I've now added an image. Right? I can change my deposit. Let's say I want a $100 deposit for this job. Boom. And I can start adding line items. We're going to create a new line item, and we're going to call this mulch. And the rate is going to be $135 per yard. And I've got a quantity of 5 yards, and we're going to add that product. So I got mulch. In this top right hand corner, I can measure things. So let's say I want to do lawn mowing. I'm going to add lawn mowing. Right? I want to go to the Google view. I'm going to view the Google view. Boom. It's going to zoom me right into the actual property real quickly. I can zoom in, and then I can just drop a pin, just holding the screen, measure, and then start measuring the property. Right? You'll see you can actually add points and just measure away, right? All the way through, right? And then it'll give you an actual total, all right? And then you type in your total. Boom. And then you have your rate, which I like to do 0.007 for most of the time. 0.005 sometimes. It depends on what it is. In this particular case, 111.56. Let's add the item, and then let's give it a discount. We're going to discount it by 20 bucks. I'm going to save that. I got my lawn mowing, I got my mulch, and then you can just continue to add more things on there. Pretty awesome. Now, we want to send this. So we're going to click send. It's going to generate your logo and everything like that all ready to go. Click view estimate. It's going to generate a PDF for you. It's going to actually be mailed to the customer. I'm on Android right now, so let me open it. This is what it looks like. Pretty cool, right? Shows the discounts in there. You can see the discount right there, $20. Everything's good to go. So now I'm going to send it. And now it's emailed to the customer, ready to go. When the customer accepts it, you go into schedule here. And the top right hand corner, this thing, is going to show you anything that's been accepted by the customer that's not scheduled yet, and anything that's late. And then that's it. That's pretty much how you run it. The only other thing that you want to take into account would be this one right here. Any requests that come through you right here, you're going to be able to go through and do that same estimate process, but you don't need to have level 2 in order to do it here. It's just going to let you generate an estimate even though you don't have level 2 on this particular one. All right. And then that's it. That's how you use the app. It's very, very, very simple. And if you have any questions, just hit me up and I'll help you with it. Thanks and have a great day.